See you. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. My computer was acting like a computer and was not letting me connect to my streaming service. So I'm glad that got cleaned up pretty quickly. Hello, Allotted Chef is here. Joey, Mel, Leanne, Anna. Good to see you guys. Philip from Ireland, and Robin from Chicago. Good to see you guys. So we're talking about herbs today because Robin made that suggestion last week on the way out the door, and I thought, what a great idea, uh, a favorite topic. So I'm thinking I did something to Philip's. Uh, okay, I'm like, no, okay, it all seems to work out again. All right, good. So I thought we would just talk about herbs. We're starting to preserve some herbs today. Even I have a round of oregano and a round of thyme in the dehydrator because that's one of the ways I love to keep those. Those two particularly dry beautifully, and so we got those two going in the dehydrator today. I'm also growing a much bigger tea garden this year. So I think from now until probably October, the dehydrator is going to be going pretty regularly. So let's see. So I thought we'll just start chatting about herbs. And if you have any questions or any thoughts as we're talking about that, that would be great. So first up, I think it's really popular right now because of the time of year, and that is basil. One of my favorite, herbs for sure. That one I do not like to dehydrate. I'm not a fan of the flavor of dried basil, but I do like to freeze it. And I find that popping off all the individual leaves uh, and then coating them with just very light coating of olive oil. And then I put them in like kind of hard plastic containers so the leaves don't get um, beat up. Is a good way to preserve them. And then when they come out, they still resemble basil. You're never going to eat them like fresh in a caprese salad, but they're wonderful to cook with. So, hi, Joey. Oh, no, it's Julie. Sorry. Hi, Julie. Now, I'm wondering if the chat is still working. Could someone just say, yeah, it's working, no, it's not? Because it hasn't moved at all, and that's very unusual. Okay, it's not moving. Oh, it just moved. Okay, something is going on with this today. So yeah, I'm so sorry. Just give me a minute to. Okay, so I'm covering something here is covering up. Oh, okay, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here, a lot of Jeff is saying he tried cinnamon basil this year, and it's absolutely lovely. That's one of the things that I'm growing for tea garden because I've grown lemon basil, I've grown lime basil. A lot of I still come back to Genovese for a lot of my cooking, and they also now have a strain of red Genovese, which is absolutely beautiful. Um, but I think the cinnamon basil just sounds wonderful and it smells delightful. So I'm hoping that I will dry and use for tea. So yeah, cinnamon. I'm very excited about that one this year. Uh, Julie is saying she dehydrated dill this year. Lovely, and I will have to say that's lovely too. And if you're at all a pickler, or if you like to pickle things, it's so nice to have that available. So when your cukes are coming in at the right time, you have your dehydrated basil ready just to go into your canning jars. Mary is here. Hi, Mary. Mary's from Australia. Uh, Mel says hasn't sown her dill yet, but you're still fine for that because dill does not mind it cooler, so it actually kind of likes slightly cooler weather. So you'll be fine if you haven't started it yet. Mine are. You can see I've got one of my grow lights on back there. A lot of my dill is back there, just coming up for a second round. Um, oh, lemon drop. I guess that's kind of like lemon basil, but that lemon drop sounds like it's even a little more lemony. That would be lovely. Because I even think basil kind of pulls lemon, doesn't it? A little bit, as it's so flavorful. Um, yeah, let's see. I think okay. I think we're kind of good. Uh, Leanne is saying she prefers dill in her freezer. Chop it up, freeze flat, and then decant uh, into a jar. Much more like fresh. Okay. So that's kind of like what I do with basil, essentially. Um, and if it does get squished flat, you can always just break some of the basil off, and I imagine same thing with the dill. Um, yeah, Mary, I'm having fun trying to come up with herbs that would be the flavors that I'd like to enjoy in tea. And I'm looking forward to the cinnamon basil a lot. Um, Stephen grew basil right by his tomatoes. And I don't know if it's a wives' tale or if it's an actual thing that when you grow basil with your tomatoes taste a little better. But I don't know if there's any. I don't know if there's any science behind that one. That just might be um, an old wives' tale. Joey's saying she drinks fresh mint tea from the garden. Oh, she's drinking it right now. Oh, lovely. Growing about 30 varieties of mint. Wow. And they will, like, they'll come back. I don't know if they'll ever actually leave, but they will. You will never have to worry about that. Uh, and Mary say try lemongrass. Yes, I have. I have about 8 lemongrass, 8 or 10 growing, and I mean, I use it in a lot of cooking, but I'm very interested in growing that for tea, and also lemon verbena. While we're on the whole lemon thing, I think lemon verbena just smells like you're about to slice into a lemon. Uh, so good, so good. Okay, so in basil, as you know, that it does like a full sun. It doesn't mind a little bit of afternoon shade though. So I think a lot of times growing with tomatoes is like kind of the perfect combo. Because right there you've got half of a caprese uh, anything, caprese pizza, caprese salad, whatever. It's all growing together. Uh, Next, I had oregano, and that was one that is in my dehydrator right now. And I tried two different oreganos this year because you know how one was Greek and one is Italian. And I found that the Greek one, much more, it's very strong. But I think it's going to be wonderful. And I'm not necessarily growing that for tea. We actually have a thing here. If we do popcorn, we put oregano on it. So I'm thinking we're going to have a nice winter full of wonderful popcorn. But I love to cook with that, and that covers a whole lot of different um, national dishes. I mean, you just because it's like the Greek oregano, although a lot of obviously Greek dishes, but I think if the flavor is as good as it is raw, fresh off, I think that will become my new favorite oregano. And I kind of did it to see which one I liked and would use, so that I could just get away with uh, growing one, because even here, which not everything is an annual or perennial here, where for other folks it is. I think my oregano will come back, I'm going to try to at least give it a little winter protection and see if it does, because when they come back, they're just so much bigger, and I think they're a little happier. Um, Julie's asking, Julie's also was talking about lemon balm for tea. Yes, lemon balm's lovely. I've got both lemon balm and lemon verbena. The verbena just smells so strong. But you know what else has a real, and I wonder, I should probably try this, is sorrel. I'm growing some red vein sorrel, and I don't know if you've had it, but it has a very bitter citrus taste. But I wonder what that would be like dried and used in tea. I'm going to have to try that one, because I love it in a salad. You just put a little bit in and it just kind of brightens the whole thing up. The difference between oregano and marjoram. Let me just check my note here. 1 second, because I did take some notes, because as much as I carry a lot of this with me, some of those little details, and one thing I don't want to do is put out incorrect info if I can avoid it. Because I know there's something, if it's on the internet, then it's correct. And I'm like, no, it's really not. But I'd like to err towards a little more correct. I think I just lost it. Did I? Oh, no, here it is. Yeah, I don't know that they're actually related. I know marjoram gets used in like herb de Provence. I also think it's a little milder, and I know it's a tender perennial. So you have to be really in a warm climate for that to be a perennial for you. But I just think it's a little milder. Oh, okay. Mary's saying marjoram is milder. Yeah, and I'm trying, I tend to grow a whole lot of, I like growing different things, but there are some things I kind of want to hone in on some of the herbs that I use a lot, the ones that I like the best. And so Mary's also saying marjoram is milder. Robin, oh, wonderful. Greek is the best, bold and spicy. Oh, good. I'm in 6B, so that should come back fine. It has grown like a weed. I mean, it's wonderful. And we have like 3 trays of kind of packed oregano in there. So I think it should be a good, and we'll get at least one more harvest off of these plants before the end of the year. But I thought it's August. So I'm thinking, I got to get this going. Oh, Anita is saying that she's had, oh, here, let me pull this up. Anita is struggled with mint. Wow, built a new herb bed. Just think it was too hot. Yeah, mint. It's hard to kill mint because, well, maybe it's only if it's where you don't want it to be. It's very hard to kill. But it's nice to have a whole bed dedicated to herbs, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I hope as the seasons kind of change and it starts getting a little cooler, that your mint might bounce back. Because I think it's pretty hard to. Yeah, I think it's hard to kill it. Hi, Mama's Oasis and Francis. Good to see you. Oh, yes. Yeah, I have a big pot of that growing as well. And it's incredible. And I grew this just to try to see if I could use it as like a little wrap instead of lettuce. It's not quite that big. But when they start making things like this bigger, and they'll just get bigger and bigger. So at some point we can do it with a wrap. But yeah, I love it, and it's very, very full and prolific. Absolutely. Oh, that's nice. Now, Mary, I think you are in a more temperate climate than at least I am. For me, they come back the following year, or they go right through. Yeah, you definitely. Yeah, you definitely have a milder climate than I. Yeah, we were just talking about the taste of red sorrel. I like it in like just a little bit added into a salad. I think it just brightens the salad, but I don't think I could, have a salad out of it. But I am going to try drying it for tea. I'm going to see if that makes a nice citrusy tea. So I will report back on that. See, now tarragon, we haven't gotten to that, but we can pop down to tarragon because that's on my list. Tarragon has, a slight anisey flavor, and yeah, slight anisey flavor. I love it with fish and eggs. I think but again, herbs, like everything else, it's a taste preference, right? I kind of had to grow into liking tarragon, and now I love it. So, and I've had a plant now that has come back for quite a few years. Um, and Mary's asking, uh, sorrel for tea. I'm going to try it because it is considered an herb, although I think we use it more like summer spinach. So I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a try, and figure it out. Anyone grow holy basil? I have grown holy basil, yes. And let me check my notes here. I had some thoughts on it. La, 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 la. I didn't take any holy basil. Yeah, I did not. Okay. Uh, I here's what I really like about holy basil is how good it smells in the garden. And I'm going to be really honest. I don't know that I have done a whole lot, but I do think um, it would taste quite good. And maybe I'll try that also for tea this year because I don't know that regular basil, it might be a little too strong. But that's why I was trying that cinnamon basil because I thought that's going to maybe give it a nice, just a nice warm flavor, and see how that works. But I'll report back on a couple. Oh, Frances is saying she holy basil for tea with a bit of ginger. Ooh, that sounds really nice. Love ginger and tea. That sounds really nice. Uh, well, I think a holy basil really, I think it was a very coveted and more like a, uh, I think that's why it has the name holy, is I think there was some, okay, I'm dragging into the back of my brain right here to get that. I think it was used ceremonially, and I'm not going to say what religion it was because I think I'll get it wrong. And so it became kind of this prized uh, basil or prized plant that was grown for that reason. But I think that's why I'm growing it this year was because I was thinking of trying it for tea. But I have a couple flavored basils that I'm trying to do that with. Um, I'm gonna do a little research on that, and next week let you know what I found about holy basil. Uh, yes, I did grow chamomile this year, and here's the beauty of what if you grow chamomile. It's kind of like if you grow alyssum as a flower. It'll self seed and come back um, so much. But I find chamomile now all over my garden. So I think if somebody's spreading it, uh, and so I'm not at a lack for that because I'll just let it go to flower and grab it for tea. You love chamomile tea, love, love, love it. And again, chamomile super easy to grow, kind of likes dry. Um, It doesn't mind kind of getting dried out, so it's good in pots. It's good like sun. Doesn't need like great growing conditions. That's one of those. It'll kind of grow wherever. And I love the fact that it just shows up. And when I don't need it where it is, I either move it or I just let it go to flower. Uh, oh yeah, it will if you harvest the flowers on chamomile, it will come back and flower again. You can get 2 to 3 um, nice harvests off of 1 year. Uh, yeah, no, it's great. I heard lavender is good for tea too. Not sure. I am not either because I love lavender, but I've heard of lavender ice cream. I've heard of, and that's supposed to be a very nice kind of like gourmet ice cream. Not sure about it, but I do have a great matter of fact. I have a pot of it right here. It's drying. Oh, so pretty. Smells so good. Because all of my lavender that I'm growing out front now too is, I realize that bonus, that's another crop out there. Uh, yeah, so I have not tasted it as like a, I just, yeah, I'm with you, Mary. I just don't know. See, and rose flowers, um, I don't particularly like rose water. I don't know if you've ever had that. I find it a little too perfumey, if that's a good word. Uh, okay, wait, we're back here in lavender. There's so many herbs, aren't there? Oh, okay. Now Joey's saying lavender's okay, but in small amounts, not bad with chamomile. Okay. Oh, interesting, Robin. Lavender and lemon thyme in shortbread cookies. Hmm. Yeah, it's like I know lavender is a an herb, but yeah, I've never done much with it like that. That sounds delicious though, because what's not good in shortbread cookies, right? But that sounds like a nice combo, and I imagine that's probably part of it is that you just have to keep it, um, keep the balance correct. Because I guess that's like any florals, they can kind of overcome everything else pretty easily. Yeah. Oh, here's one from Julie. I put lavender in a crabapple jelly preserve, but you only need a very small amount in cooking. Huh. Great ideas. These are great ideas. Uh, Lemon thyme and chicken is my main use. You know, I think lemon and chicken kind of go hand in hand, don't they? Uh, great, great combination. Okay, Francis just Googled holy basil and okay, sacred Hindu practice. Okay, I thought that, but I did not want to say in case I was totally incorrect. Promotes good balance. Well, I should be doing that a lot then if it's a balance promoting thing. Um, oh, nice. Mary's planting a row of aromatic plants along the path to my front door. Beautiful. And could you just imagine running your hand through it as you're walking to the door? Oh, that'd be lovely. Francis. uh, Lavender chocolate. Oh, wow. Hi, Fiona. Uh, Lavender chocolate is nice. Well, now that I have so much lavender growing on the property, I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to experiment a little bit because I am going to have a whole lot. Yeah. Oh, Stephen, thanks. I actually my son was here recently and he took a lovely video of it for me. And the hedge out front is coming along beautifully. Uh, Obviously looks a much more like lavender now, but I can see within the next couple of years how it's going to really fill in. So I'm thrilled with it. I think it looks great. Uh, yeah, I'm so happy we did that because it just looks. There's a certain I don't know, it looks a little playful out there. I just think it looks great. So yeah, so that's what I mean. I have like 40 lavender plants now. So I'm going to get very good at figuring out things to do with it. Okay, let's talk about rosemary. Uh, probably one of my favorite, um, probably one of my favorite herbs. The aroma of rosemary to me is to die for, uh, and it's such a good flavoring for things. And this year specifically, I'm growing a variety called barbecue rosemary, and it grows very tall, very um, straight, and you can use it as a barbecue skewer. So we actually have not done that yet this year. Is it just me or is time flying? I mean, here we are, second week in uh, August, and I don't know. I just feel like this summer has flown by. Um, so I think over this weekend, we're going to actually use it as its intended purpose and skewer some, uh, I don't know, chicken maybe, shish kebab, whatever, and grill that this weekend. So I'm very excited about that. And I think what I will do with that as the year comes to an end, I'm going to cut it off as long as I can, like a low to the plant, but leave enough that if it comes back great, I can't usually grow rosemary as a perennial, but I always do try. So I'll probably leave, and I have, I think, like 14 of those plants. So, but I'm going to cut them, so they're as long as they can be, and then I'm going to freeze them so that even in the winter, if we want to do that, we can. Um, yeah, because I thought let's give, because I have found that rosemary freezes beautifully, and when you take it out, it kind of acts like a fresh rosemary because they're so woody and thick, and uh, yeah, so I'm going to try and see if I can make that last a little bit into spring. Uh, Everybody likes rosemary, I think. Uh, oh, rosemary and white bean soup. Seriously? Mm-hmm. And on focaccia. Oh my goodness. Wonderful. Let's see. We got a lot of chat. Uh, okay. Have tried the rosemary like that, but it burned. Maybe should have soaked the rosemary sticks. Well, that's uh, probably a good idea once it's off the plant. Uh, yeah, we're gonna try it out this weekend, so I will let you know. But it's like anything else, a wood stick that you're always better off if you soak them. So that might be a great idea. I might just cut them off like the day before and soak them overnight. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of chef is saying, yeah, time is flying this year. Only managed 4 barbecues this year. I only think we've had 2, which is crazy. We grill more in the winter than that. So I'm not sure what is all happening, but same way. And it's like you kind of have to plan it. I feel like if it's not on my calendar, the day is gone and I haven't done it. Uh, Oh, well, I hope you do, Frances. She's saying it's not really her favorite, but I might have to learn. Well, I would say learn to enjoy the aroma first, and the flavor might come after. And if you roast it, there's a couple people here saying roasted with potatoes or roast vegetables. I mean, it's great. I find rosemary almost more of a winter vegetable, if there is such a thing, because it goes with those heavier. I think it goes better with those heavier flavors of the winter. And oh, hi Claire, welcome. Uh, yeah. So and rosemary again loves sun, sun, sun. Can't get enough sun. Oh, rosemary butter. I think as we're talking about any of these herbs, a butter is always, a compound butter with herbs just takes. Oh, rosemary in the bath, lovely. I think any compound butter is a good way to go. And rosemary has such a strong fragrance that, yeah, that'd be delightful. I also had a rosemary in a soap once, and it was great. You never think of, at least I didn't, and I thought, ooh, because I love the scent of it above all. I love the scent of it. So that was a lovely soap. Back when bar soap was very popular, right? Not so much now. Um, okay, uh, let's talk about time. Time, time, time. One of my favorites. Use it. I use it a lot. I like it dry. I've got some dehydrating right now. I think I'm also going to try to freeze some on the stems, and then you can just toss them into whatever you're making with the stems. Uh, but that's kind of how I um, preserve that one. I love it dehydrated because thyme. Um, not every herb does well dried. I don't like parsley dried; it loses its color. Uh, what are some of the other ones here? I'm not crazy about tarragon being dried. Uh, I don't even really even like rosemary dried. I prefer it. I prefer it fresh and or frozen than dried. Okay. Uh, garlic butter. Mary's asking, have made uh, have I made any have I made any with your garden? No, my garlic is still drying out uh, in my living room. Uh, but I did clean out of the refrigerator today, which it's always amazing to me what can be found in a refrigerator. And I found some of the green garlic that I had harvested, I don't know, maybe late May, early June. And it's still lovely. It's great. But I was thinking, what on earth am I going to do with this? And I think garlic butter sounds fabulous. Because, like, who doesn't like that, right? Yeah, that'd be wonderful. So we were chatting about thyme. Okay, thyme, another full sun, very woody. Will come back. It takes a minute for it to get going in the spring again. And it's almost better if you give it a nice hard uh, prune so you get rid of some of the dead wood. so that it will grow better the next year. And that's a great one in spice mixes. Uh, Lovely flavor. So we've got a question here from Claire. Do people use lemon balm? It seems to be a fix all if the internet is right. I do have some lemon balm growing, and it's more for tea that I'm growing it this year because I really wanted to see, do I like lemongrass, lemon verbena, lemon mint, or lemon balm better as an addition to tea. But I think anything that's called balm is probably going to have some pretty good medicinal uh, uses as well. And I didn't get into that much. I didn't want to get into that much today because I am not necessarily a medicinal herbalist, for growing them. Some things I like, I'm growing calendula this year because I understand it makes a beautiful balm for dry skin. And as I've gotten older, my skin is a whole lot drier. So I'm going to make some salve out of that to see if that helps with the dry skin, which I understand it should. So, oh, okay. Now, what do you mean by faffy to harvest? I mean, it's little and it comes in these skinny little stalks. Uh, yeah, I don't know what, I guess I'm not sure what you're asking. I tend to harvest it and leave it on the stems. I don't pick off all the little pieces, and I dry them as little stems, and I'm going to freeze them as little stems. And I just throw it into whatever I'm cooking as a little stem, and the pieces of thyme will come off or will flavor what you're cooking. And then you just have to pick out the little stems. And that's how I deal with thyme, because that will take you like mountains of time to pull off those little things. And I even have one of those little herb, where you can pull it through a hole and it pops off. But that would take literally forever. Yeah, that would take forever. Robin saying lemon thyme is my favorite, followed by parsley. I use parsley almost as an ingredient in a salad because I love the flavor, and it's like, why not? And when it's growing fresh right out of the garden, yeah, it's wonderful. I'm not a fan. I did dehydrate a lot of parsley last year, and I'm not a fan of it. It just, it got almost brown. It didn't keep its color. I think something like parsley or cilantro, that's like something that would be perfect for a freeze dryer. I do not have a freeze dryer. I don't think I'm going to get one just to dry two different herbs that I think would do better. Okay, sorry, was reading a comment. Okay, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, the dried parsley. Yeah, I think that's another one. If I choose to keep some, and at the end of the season, you get a nice big flush of it because it loves the cooler weather. I'm just going to freeze it and see. And it may not keep its color at that point either. In which case, we'll go to plan B because I just try to eat it while it's fresh, and I love it just as an ingredient. Well, Claire, I'm glad you were not. Well, new life forms is exactly correct. We found, I guess they'd be old life forms. That's what I found. But yeah, it's amazing if you forget something. Wow, what that can do. Uh, yeah, isn't that interesting? I have a drawer. We have two upper doors, a drawer, and then freezer, a freezer drawer. And I actually had took a picture of the drawer today because I thought maybe if I do this, I'll remember what is in here and what needs to get used. Uh, yeah, so I'm experimenting with a lot of these for the tea garden. And we didn't really talk much about lemongrass. Let's talk about that. I think that's kind of an underrated one because the flavor, it's like a delicate lemon flavor. It's a very different. Yeah. No, and I cook a bit with lemongrass when appropriate. Um, but I think the mild lemon, I see, to me that's like maybe one of these herbs that would do well in a tea blend, an herbal tea blend, just to have like a little flavor of lemon, but not an overwhelming one. Um, that's at least what I'm hoping. So we'll see. I'm gonna get everything dehydrated and then, be a chemist in the kitchen and figure out what plays well together. Oh, cilantro. Okay. I was wondering, Mary. I'm thinking, you wouldn't put it in soap? Oh yes, cilantro. Yeah, I do not have. I have the gene where it tastes delicious. So my daughter has the other gene, and so I have to remember when she's visiting that no cilantro. Oh, okay. Yeah, I grow English thyme. I think that's really what it was called. Uh, okay, Hamburg parsley. Is that the root parsley? I think that's the root parsley. And if it is, I have some growing right now. Have not harvested it yet. Um, yeah, and the tops seem a little stiffer than parsley. But again, I haven't tasted it. I haven't harvested it. Um, oh, Robin does a dehydrator herb mix: lemon thyme, parsley, garlic powder, celery powder with sea salt. Oh, that does sound good. Yeah, lemon. I had no lemon thyme growing this year. I used to always grow lemon thyme. I'll have to write that on my list again. Things to grow next year. Uh, yeah. Thanks, Francis. I thought of that today. Like, why don't I just have a picture of it? I mean, we have pictures of everything else on our phone. And actually, I should have taken pictures of my freezer too, but I need to attend to that because we're coming into the season where if stuff's left from last year, I hate to throw out good things, but I'm not going to keep it a year old if I've got fresh things coming in. So I think it's time to do the brutal, the brutal go through the freezer so that we make room for the fresh things. And then, yeah, take pictures of it so that we can maybe remember what's in there all the time. Isn't that the truth? Out of sight, out of mind. Uh, yeah, and that's a lot of where I use my lemongrasses in Thai cooking. Now, Midlands in the UK is it's not really in the middle of the UK, correct? Um, because I just don't know how north you are. But we have really hot summers. That's I think the only reason I can get away with it is our summers do get very warm. Uh, okay, we're talking. Okay, we just popped over to chives here, so I'm gonna try to. Um, yeah, and chives are another one I do not like to dehydrate because they turn into little brown sticks and they don't taste of much. I did last year. I made. I want to say it's an. I know it's an Asian condiment with you like boil avocado oil. You put your chopped up garlic chives in a small little canning jar with some salt, and then you pour this boiling oil over it. It is phenomenal. And I realize my garlic chives are just about ready to bloom. So I think it's time to get out there and get those harvested so that before the blooms, and then let the blooms happen and have my condiment for the next year. It was lovely, and I just did it and froze it in uh, like half pint. No, it might have been a pint canning jar, and oh my goodness! And whenever we took one out and put it in the fridge, it went pretty quickly because it kind of tastes good on everything. Um, let's see. Uh, okay, okay. So this might answer the question. I used to grow lemongrass many years ago when I lived in Kent, but it's warmer. Sorry. Oh, down south. Yes, for sure. All of us can say that, right? It's always a little warmer down south. Okay. Midlands is just about Birmingham, just above Birmingham, and a little to the right. Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, that was one of my rookie mistakes with my dehydrator. Yeah, it's horrible. It's horrible. Uh, oh, Francis saying chives and ice cubes, absolutely. Uh, so you grow borage, Claire. Uh, isn't that like totally invasive? Do you have borage now everywhere? Or are you able to, I don't know, keep it under control? I love the look of borage. I know that it's an edible and all that, but I just know it takes over. And I try to be really careful with any invasive things because I don't have that much room to give up to those. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's happening here. Oh, wow, I'm way behind. Okay. Uh, okay, so I was correct. It does kind of self seed. Okay. Now, comfrey, isn't it true if you get like that, it's like a certain variety that does not spread by seed? I think something seven. Oh, I forget. Okay. Okay. Let me get back on this. Okay. So let's see. Okay, last one. How about we chat about fennel? Uh, Fennel, probably one of my favorites. I know it's a very what's the word? You either love it or you kind of hate it. So it's kind of like cilantro. There's no middle ground. Like it's okay. It's oh, there you go, Bocking 14. Thank you. Yes. Uh, yeah, Bocking 14. Yep. Okay. Yeah, because I have that. I started growing that last year, but now it kind of looks like it turned into uh, oh gosh, what are those called? One of those shade. Okay, brain is not snapping on all synapse. Uh, okay, we're going to talk about fennel. Okay, yes, Mary. Oh no, Julie is saying love fennel. Bronze fennel is beautiful, and use the leaf and seeds. Absolutely. I also love the bulb that fennel um, makes, and I have I don't know about 20 of them hardening off right now in the backyard because they grow better, at least for me, after the longest day. They seem to like going into the shorter days and they don't bolt as quick. Um, but I love a plant like fennel because you get the actual bulb, which is a vegetable, or it acts like a vegetable. You get the fronds, and if you let those go to seed, you get your fennel seeds, which are wonderful in certain kinds of cooking. So that one for me is it's a like kind of a powerhouse in the uh, garden. Okay. Anyway, so I just love it. So my goal is to, as I preserve my fennel, I tend to roast it. Shouldn't say I tend to. I typically slice it, roast it, and freeze it until I'm ready to use it. And I do let some of it go to seed. I also love the fronds, which you would love it if we could dry those. But I think if chives turn into sticks, imagine what that will be. Yes. Oh, so glad you said that, Robin. Uh, I have had, we were out today and just the other day, harvesting and doing other things. The amount of butterflies I had in the backyard, it was crazy. Yellow swallowtails, black swallowtails, uh, monarchs. And then there was a new one that I hadn't seen before, very dark, like seriously, I thought it was just solid black. Um, Gorgeous and almost flew like a hummingbird because I first thought it was a hummingbird, and it was this beautiful black butterfly. And they were uh, we have a butterfly bush that we need to move, and so we chopped it way back, thinking, okay, it has gone uh, all huge now. Anyway, so so fennel, and again, I think fennel is one of those acquired tasted. Yeah, fennel bulbs, they have that anise flavor, and not everybody likes that flavor. I don't overly like that flavor, but I find in roasted vegetables or in some stews, particularly, it gets so lovely and caramelized that it's almost like a little bit of candy. I think it's lovely. And again, you kind of have to, uh, you know whether you like those kind of flavors or not. But sure, worth trying before you grow it. You know, pick one up at the grocery store and see if you like it. Yeah, and I think that's how we learn kind of what we like, isn't it? I'm hoping next year to try a bit on different herbs that I've never even tried. I think, and if nothing else, they'll be pretty and they will go to flower. If you find you don't like them, and the pollinators will love them. And I don't think there's a downside on that, right? I always throw something new that I've never grown before, and that's a lot of fun. Uh, okay, so I mean, we didn't even get through like half this list. Um, so gosh, we're over an hour already. Unbelievable. Let's see. Yeah, I got just a few more comments here. I don't want to. That does, Claire. Um, just be careful with putting a bird bath. And I'm only going to tell you this because I think this was my first garden, and I was, oh my goodness, I was maybe mid 20s, maybe late 20s, you know, 26, 27, whatever. And I put basil under my bird feeder because I thought it would be pretty, and then we could, have the basil. And then we had a friend come over, and we were sitting out there, and his comment was, "So you like guano basil?" Because the birds had, done the bird thing on the basil. And I'll never forget that. So I'm very careful where I put things that attract birds, because they just, they don't care. Not that they don't care, they just do their thing. Um, okay, so thank you. I will read through I always do this. I will read through the comments. And so if there's anything I missed, I will try to address it next week. I won't try to address it. I will address it next week. Let's be positive, shall we? Um, there you go. uh, I have never tried dandelion tea. No, I haven't. I have not. I actually grew dandelions on purpose this year. I'm serious. I really did. They were supposed to be pink dandelions, and I thought, well, that'll be pretty. So I put it the top of one of my vertical planters. I thought, wouldn't that be pretty? And the blooms last for a day. So I waited like all this time, and then it would give one, uh, one bud come up, and then it's dead the next day. I was like, well, we can do better with this growing area, for crying out loud. So, well, we have plenty of regular dandelions, so I could maybe try that. I don't even know. Yeah, I'll think about that. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Uh, Always lovely to catch up. And if I come up with anything brilliant that I didn't say today, I'll bring it up next week, but I think we're good. Anyway, ah, you do? Okay, I don't think I was thinking nobody could ever see that. I'd love to White Shrew. Yes, I'm a big fan of that crazy man. Uh, yes, I have a bobblehead too. I probably should put that up there with him. Anyway, thanks so much. You guys are the best. Have a great, great week. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy your gardens. And because we're now officially in midsummer, it's like it's official. So get out there and enjoy it while we can. Right. We'll see you next week, same time, same place. Bye.